verse 22. Joseph is a fruitful bough by a spring. His branches run over the wall. We have seen in the previous chapter how he blessed Joseph via Manasseh and Ephraim, right? But that was not the end of the blessings, because here he is going through the list of his sons in order. And Joseph, the second youngest, second last to be mentioned, and then Benjamin last going to be mentioned. But the majority of this whole, Judah, a lot of said about him, a lot said about Reuben, Simeon, Levi together, so it's kind of something, but not a lot actually. But the majority of his blessing, again in this chapter, is on Joseph. Okay, so he is going to be fruitful. Yes, sure, fruitful. His two sons, and both of the two sons had very big tribes, unlike the others. Okay, well, some of them had big tribes as well, but when the counting came, then they were going to, if you put the numbers of Ephraim and Manasseh together, then they were always the majority. Okay, so he's going to be fruitful, branches running over the wall, right? That idea of it's everywhere, this fruitfulness. Verse 23, the archers bitterly attacked him, shot at him, and harassed him severely. Yet his bow remained unmoved. His arms were made agile by the hands of the mighty one of Jacob. From there is a shepherd, the stone of Israel. By the God of your father who will help you, by the Almighty who will bless you with blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that crouches beneath, blessings of the breasts and of the womb, the blessings of your father, and mighty beyond the blessings of my parents, up to the boundaries of the everlasting hills. May they be on the head of Joseph, and at the brow of him who was set apart from his brothers. A lot said here, right? Blessings, 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 blessings. Right, but not, yeah, blessings. Before, in part of this blessings, he started off with kind of a negative aspect, right? Okay, so he started off with the positive in the fact that he'll have lots of offspring, but the negative now in the sense of he's going to have enemies. The enemy is going to attack him. Joseph himself, his brothers attacked him. Everybody can clearly, it would make a lot of logical sense that all the leaders there in Egypt, after this hunger time is done and etc., right? And Joseph is not needed that more anymore. That the vultures started coming together so as to get rid of Joseph. Like later on they would try and get rid of Daniel. Okay, the same thing. It just kind of that's sort of normal, unluckily, right? And so there will be a lot of enemy, and they're going to try and destroy him. And Joseph, by then, I'm pretty sure, knew that, and only even later in life, and for his tribes, always trying to destroy them. Okay, but Joseph will stand strong. Okay, he stood strong. Why? Because his arms were made agile by the hands of the mighty of Jacob, by the God of their father. In verse 25, it's God that's blessing him. So Joseph knew throughout his whole life that the fact that he was there was not because of what he did or who he was, but because of who God is. And that is why he attained that goal, because his brothers sent him into slavery, and that could have been the end of the story. They could have killed him. That could have been the end of the story. Then they been sold to slavery. Could have been the end of the story. Potiphar's wife, she telling that he would try to rape her. That would have meant the death sentence. So that could have been the end of the story. Being forgotten in prison, that could have been the end of the story. There were so many times that the story could have ended, but it never ended. And it ended actually in the sense of him becoming second in command. So he knew clearly, as he stated earlier, and he's going to the next chapter state again, that this was God's doing. And so Israel reminds him, and then the people, Moses through Jacob, is reminding as well Ephraim and Manasseh years later on, that they don't become too important, like, oh, we were Joseph's offspring, so like, look at us, kind of, we need this. Especially when Judah is the one that's going to lead it. And we've already looked at the verses concerning Judah. And so he is like, in that sense, calming them down, saying it's not because of who you are, right? It's not even because of Joseph, right? Like it is all because of who God is. That is why you have this big tribes. This is why you have this special blessing. Not because you did anything special, but because of who God is. Don't forget that. Okay? So he is informing, in this sense, Joseph here, just reiterating something that Joseph knew, something as well that Jacob knows might come up the moment he dies, and he knows he's very close to death, and it's going to come up in the next chapter. So reminding Joseph, therefore, that, and don't be harsh on your brothers, because ultimately, yes, they did evil, but this is God's plan. Okay? You came into this position not because of who you are, but because of who God is. Never forget that. And then there are lots of blessings. So it's though after saying all of this that, a reminder to Joseph that this is, you are where you are because of God. So don't hold this against your brothers. Then, so he's like reprimanding in a certain sense, warning him in a certain sense. And then he throws on the blessings to sweeten the deal kind of idea, right? So blessings this, blessings that, blessings that from God. Because ultimately it's a blessing. So Joseph, look at the blessings you have. Your children are now my children. This is what the payback that I'm kind of giving you, that God is giving you through me, that you are going to have this position. They will be the biggest. So Joseph, no, I'm going to die soon. Therefore, fall back on these words. Don't hold it against your brothers. So he's not saying those words, but clearly this is what he's implying. And then what Moses, by writing it down in such a way, is again implying to the people, this is the reason why Manasseh and Ephraim is so many. This is the reason why Manasseh and Ephraim are getting so much more. Right? So he's speaking to the other 11 tribes. Levi in this case included with the 10. And at the same time, he's telling Ephraim and Manasseh, don't take it too far, because remember, Joseph became who he was because of, thanks to, and only thanks to, who God is. Not because of. So your position. So that they did not like start seeing, oh, our tribe is the most important because of this, and our tribe, like we like to do. My father is this, and my father is that, and your father is just a this, or your father is just a clearly picking up garbage or something like this. You're worth nothing, right? That's okay. That is not how it's supposed to be, and this is therefore why Moses is stating it. So there's a reason why Israel is saying it in this way to Joseph, and why he's spending so much time on Joseph, not just because he loves him, but because he knew the power as well that Joseph had, and what will follow after his death, what can follow after his death, and he wanted to make sure it's not going to happen. And Moses is using this, to put it like this, God prophetically through Jacob here spoke, so that Moses then can use these words so as to, as well, 200 years later, give or take, can calm down all of them, so they will treat each other with love and respect, and not with hatred and disgust.